race overall.
Yeah, definitely. So in real time, the race has started. So once the Twitch delay catches up, we will be off to the races.
Yeah,
off to
definitely.
this race, anyways. So yeah, did you mention their times? I was kind of lost in the cloud of thought. Nice.
No problem. Yeah, I knew you were dealing with all the stuff with the actually racing and everything. Yeah, I mentioned their times a little bit and stuff. Do you want to maybe go over a little bit about, maybe go into a little depth on what you've seen from both of these runners from your own experience?
Well, I have to say, qqstafoo is he got crazy good really fast. It's really nuts that he has a sub 34 PB as of I think last night, and yeah, that's very, very impressive given that he's been running for 2 months or something like that. It's nuts. So
yeah,
unfortunately we're not likely to see too much of a balanced race here because qqstafoo's PB is way ahead of Chicken's, but Chicken can still go for a good race in his own right. So we'll be able to see how they progress through it basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I know that Chicken's been really pushing himself to go for faster strats. So, maybe when he filled out all the info when we were, getting info from him and stuff, that he wasn't going to go for fast Nautilus, but maybe he's changed his mind and he'll want to go for it as well. And, some of the faster charge dash movement through Misty and, dying in Ori is a thing that happens. So you never know what could possibly happen during the whole run.
Yeah, that's for sure. Just last run, we saw Vuligen against Kirifel. Vuligen got really far behind early because he died a couple times on the way to wall jump, and then just his superior experience over the rest of the game made him catch up. I'm not sure if we're going to see the same kind of thing here between qqstafoo and Chicken, but you never know. You never know what could happen in Ori.
Yeah, definitely. And so right now they're coming up to the first ghost story of the game, and as explained earlier during the other two races, what we do for this is we get these keystones, and when we put them into the door and then save after, there's an animation that triggers, and if you save after the animation has started and you die, and you at the time you respawn, it will treat it as though it has already finished opening, so you can literally just walk through. And we use this at several points during the run, and each time, if done optimally, saves about 3 seconds or so.
Yeah, it depends on the door. It depends on how quickly you're able to die. But the door opening animation is 5 seconds, but usually takes a couple seconds to find some spikes or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one time in Ori that we want to actually, kill ourselves. As opposed to every other time when we die trying to get PBs.
All the other deaths are just RNG manipulation for next round.
I agree.
Not that there's actually any RNG in Ori of any significant measure, but we tell ourselves that to try to feel better.
It helps takes the pain away a little bit.
A little bit.
So they're coming up on wall climb right now, and they actually had pretty similar times. I believe qqstafoo was a little bit ahead, and so we'll have to see how this goes. I would say wall jump to dash when people are learning the run is one of the harder ones, because not only are you taking some intentional damage on the way out to go faster, but once you get into the upcoming area, Blackroot Burrows, that's some of the movement in there is really quirky, and it's very cycle based, and it takes a lot of practice to get down.
Yeah, there's some neat stuff that goes on in Blackroot Burrows. You get to pause at certain points and sort of take your time because you can't make a faster cycle, but at the same time, if you get slowed down for too long, then you're going to be really sad as you watch the platform slowly go away from you and then come back. Yeah. There's actually a cooler trick later on in Blackroot where they'll wait in a certain spot to sync up some cycles later because platforms are paused when they're not loaded, and there's one room that loads just as you approach it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that cycle manipulation is a cool piece of tech that's been around for a pretty long time, and it's a little finicky, and I know different runners use different visual cues for that. And that's another thing that you'll notice as both these runners get through the majority of the game is the cool thing about Ori is since the movement tech is like has so much freedom to it, a lot of runners use different methods to go through different areas, and you'll see those little tiny differences in movement, and that's always fun to watch during the races.
Yeah, we have a fun way of calling the cycle manipulation at the end of Blackroot. You can go for a very docile cycle manipulation where you play it safe and you're not going to miss the next platform, or you can play the aggressive cycle manipulation. So we'll see if anybody goes a little crazy where you make it so you barely catch the next platform as it's leaving, risking the 8-second loss of missing the cycle entirely.
Yeah, definitely. But sometimes you just got to go for twice the juice, man. You just have to go for it. Yeah. So we see qqstafoo up here coming towards the laser cycles after getting through the lantern section right there. And these laser cycles are really hard, especially when you're especially casually, but definitely when you're learning, because all of them are on different timers. So they all like shoot off at different rates of speed, or at different frequencies, I should say. And it's really like I have died a lot of times to those lasers, and they are not kind.
Yeah, they're not. They don't feel too good, They really don't feel too good.
Yeah, definitely not. So do you want to go into detail a little bit about the next ability dash that we're going to be using throughout the run?
Oh yeah, I guess since we have the liberty of kind of talking about this and that, since we've explained most of the tricks in the previous runs today, we can go a little bit into the dash mechanics. So the basics of dash is that it just moves you really fast horizontally. Seen that. But there's actually some really cool tech with dash that we'll get to see immediately called dash gliding. And what that is you input a dash while holding a direction, and then during the dash, which is about 1/4 of a second long, you release the direction, and then while your inputs are neutral, you jump. And this kind of flings you forward and doesn't decelerate you in the same way that you would if you were still holding a direction. So you get little bits of time save here and there by doing dash glides, and you get this cool animation where Ori just kind of chills out in the air because you're not actually accelerating in any way. You're just kind of in a neutral animation, but you're flying through the air. So it's kind of fun to see. And you'll see these guys both doing it as they traverse back across Blackroot here to set out for the Frankie Walk.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it right here with a couple gaps, and over the that cutscene that we skipped earlier with the save anywhere. We have to dash glide over that because the slow zone is still there. So if you dash into it, Ori's going to take a nice little walk through the park in the first part of Glades, and no one wants that.
Yeah, in the dark past before we really knew how to dash glide effectively, we had a nice little stroll through there every single run, but you can float right over it. It's a nice property of dash gliding.
Yeah, definitely. So both of them had, I think, pretty similar wall jump to dash splits. I don't think there was much separation in time between them. And so qqstafoo's coming up to Frankie Walk right now. He's choosing to do the regular route. Neither of these guys really do fast Frankie Walk. It's a very risky strat, yeah.
Yeah, there has to be something wrong with you if you're going to do that in a race. Hydra, come on, man.
Those guys, they're madmen. We've tried to tell them otherwise, but we can't stop them. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you also get to see a nice dash glide there by qqstafoo to dunk the Frankie into the water. You can't normally get that kind of distance if you're doing normal movement there, so it is some interesting inputs. And I guess I didn't really, when I was explaining dash glides, I didn't really cover sort of the risk in it, is that if you don't release your input at the right rhythm and you jump while you're still holding it, then you'll just go nowhere and you could fall into the poison water and die there. So it's a little spooky, but qqstafoo knows what's up, so no big worries.
Yeah, and we just saw on qqstafoo's screen, he when he was falling down in this area Moon Grotto where we're going to be getting double jump, there's these little crusher cycles right here. And there's a little bit of delayed movement you can put into it to manipulate the slight loading time right there into that area. And there's this thing called an early grotto cycle, and it just like the Blackroot Burrow cycles. Those save you about 8 seconds a piece, and you can actually barely make it with the proper wall run into dash setup. And he tried to go for it. He unfortunately wasn't able to get it, but it was a good attempt.
Yeah, that is probably. I mean, it's a very difficult trick to actually succeed. I'd say it's one of the tightest tricks to actually succeed in a game. Punishment for failing is generally that you just get stuck outside, so it's not a big deal. And a lot of people go for that because of that reason, but actually getting it is very iffy, I'd have to say.
Yeah, and it's risky too because there is actually like a couple frames where if you try to go through the crusher at that specific point, it will actually kill you. And
yeah, you can get caught on the corner. It's really, really sad, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And it's
Also,
a good reason to save.
Sorry to cut you off, but stafoo
Yeah.
just got first try grotto skip, and he's going up the shaft to get water vein right now. So that was a really good job by him. And
Oh yeah.
Chicken's not too far behind. He just got double jump as well.
Yeah, so stavoo plugging along. There's a bunch of cutscene skips where he's just going to quickly save and reload the game in this part. And these are all short cutscenes, but it's faster to just step out into the menu and then come back in rather than to watch them for their duration. So whenever possible, we'll be cutting out cutscenes just to save a few seconds here and there.
Yeah, I think actually we pretty much skip every possible cutscene in this category. The only one we don't skip is the ending credits. That's about it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny in other categories where we get to the end in more interesting ways than actually just walking there normally. We actually can skip part of the ending cutscene because we can carry our menus in there. But not in this one.
Yeah, if anyone is actually crazy enough to actively run any percent, you will know this very much so.
You have my respect if you're crazy enough to run any percent. Suffice to say, the world record would already be done by now if the any percent around. Of course, this is all skills. It's much longer. We have much, much more to do. So we get a little bit more of a tour through the forest.
Yeah, and stavoo is Stafoo's in one of my favorite places personally when I was learning the run is that I called the ability stump right there. That movement right there to get in that little nook and then do a quick like jump away from it in order to get up to the top of it is just such sweet. Like it feels so rewarding when you get it for the first time, like super smoothly.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things like that, like grotto skip, that movement there, early grotto cycle. There's like a lot of little tricks that just feel incredibly satisfying to nail on first try. Mm-hmm. And when you're new learning this game, that's, to get up to that ability cell is honestly, it's one of the easier ones. So it's probably one of the first ones that you're going to start consistently getting first try. And you just feel so cool when you're getting it after, you learned the game and you struggled with it for minutes at a time.
Yeah, totally. And I think that goes the same way with like some of like the Misty Woods sections later. I feel the exact same way about too, because everything can kill you, and when you just like glide beautifully through everything, it feels amazing. So Chicken's coming up on Ginso right now, so he's about like three rooms behind stavoo right now, so he's still keeping pretty good pace at the moment. And again, like Ginso is it's very vertically oriented, and when you try to use the portals, you can do some really dicey movement, so it's definitely possible for him to catch up like during this.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like at this point we still have the ability to save a fair bit, so deaths aren't too bad, but you can definitely take some bad deaths. Like if you were to get hit by the mini boss right at the end of the fight, then you're going to be in for a real sad time. Stuff like that, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because those like this mini boss that Stafoo's coming up to is the first one of the two that we'll meet in Ginso Tree. You generally do it. Most people do it about 5 to 6 cycles, and that's probably about like 25 seconds worth of loss if you die during it, if you like lose like right at the end. So yeah. it really hurts.
That's for sure.
So that was a pretty solid fight from stavoo overall. I believe he got a 5 cycle, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I missed the count. No, there's like one hit left at the end. It's a 6 cycle, but it's like a 5.1 cycle in all honesty, so that's really solid.
And indeed, that's really good. Like anything close to a 5 cycle is really solid, like boss fight. And let's see, Chicken right now is about to go into the puzzle room leading up to it. So let's see if he can possibly get a 5 or 6 cycle in his as well. The boss spawns.
Yeah, we'll see what he manages to do. Meanwhile, qqstafoo pulling off a ghost door to get himself into Bash here. Bash is probably the reason that people ran Ori in vanilla. We didn't have dash to go zipping all over the place, so we had to wait until we got here to get some really cool movement tech. So Bash lets you throw stuff around and just go really fast in general through the air. Now, dashing's a lot faster still, but you get a mix of the two and get some really cool movement with the combined Bash dash that we now have. So our mobility is great at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And much like Sigma earlier explained about dash gliding, bash gliding actually works the exact same way. After you let go in the direction you want to, you bring your analog stick or your keyboard directions back into neutral, and you can pretty much do the exact same sort of like no horizontal momentum deceleration at all. And we use that a lot to go super fast in the mid game, like where there's a lot of open free movement.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's important to note that both these guys are playing on keyboard and mouse. If you're playing on controller, there's a knack to bashing successfully to like release your analog stick that you just used to aim the bash back to a neutral position and not have it snap around and throw you in random directions. But on keyboard and mouse, since you're aiming the bash with your mouse, you just can let your left hand take a break, just take it off the keyboard, fly through the air. Of course, since we've got a dash, we don't get to chill out as much, but the vanilla run of Ori was a lot more get a bash going and just wait until you can't keep that bash going anymore, and then get another one. So you got to relax for a while. Now we got qqstafoo coming up on the core skip here. This is a experience manipulation that he's going to do to skip the right side room, because the right side room is slow and no fun, basically. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what variant he does here. There's actually been a new core skip where you kill the frog outside. Yeah, he's going to kill the frog outside. And the frog, he actually kind of trolled him there by eating a shot that he was trying to kill the frog with. That's just a little bit quicker than the old way where we threw the frog into the room and then killed it there. But of course, more dangerous, because if you level up outside, you're in for a little bit of a sad time.
Yeah, definitely. I've already seen it a couple times in other people's like streams. Oh, I think qqstafoo might have died, and he did die. So that's another thing. Unlike a lot of auto scrollers, which are pretty much technically what you would consider all the escapes, the water in Ginso Tree Escape actually rubber bands, and so you don't really get a chance to stop for very long. To adjust your movement. So just so you saw right there, qqstafoo missed that little shot off the spider, and he also missed the wallbro shot. So he ended up falling straight into the water, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough. This water is not too forgiving. It chases you down, and one mistake and you get dunked back into it. It's interesting to note that there's a way to remove the water from this escape sequence by glitching out the cutscene at the start of it. And in the vanilla version of this game, we actually did that all the time because it was faster. You could start bashing your way up the escape while the cutscene at the start was still playing, and then the water would be gone. But you can't do the same thing in the definitive edition, so we just have to be a little bit riskier. I personally kind of like it because I think the water's cool, but sometimes you get killed by it. Ooh, and we actually see Chicken missed the core skip there, so he's got to reload the file. This is actually faster than continuing on to the right side room, because the left side room is way faster than the right, and especially because most people, never have to go to the right room and never practice it, so it can be pretty rough.
Yeah, and the flower shot you have to use to actually get out of that room is really slow. Like, I think it's like while everything in Ori is like at an 80 mile per hour like speed limit, that flower shot's at like the residential 25 mile per hour zone, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's actually a pretty funny thing that happens with that flower shot. If you fire it out to where you're supposed to break the core, but you're hanging out in the right side of the room, the wall is unloaded, and the shot will just fly into the void and very, very slowly move towards Mount Horu. And that flower will only shoot a shot if there isn't one already active. Like, it doesn't shoot them on a timer. It waits to see if the shot's gone before it shoots one again. And it just won't shoot again because the shot takes like minutes to get to Horu.
Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a Stafoo, as Chicken is finishing the escape and now going to stomp. Stafoo is going up towards Kuro cutscene skip as well. So he's going to most people drop a save right there. And he's going to get up to the slant right here. He's going to try. And does he get it? He did get it. Awesome. So what you try to do right there with the Kuro cutscene skip is you get up, there's this like little slant in the ground right there, and you try to get it so you are just barely on the slant, and then from there you try to buffer your bash as quickly as possible with the spider shooting the shot, and that allows you to get a really pretty much like quick frame like area or period of time to get you through that cutscene and I'll watch it.
Yeah, it looks like nothing when you get it, but it's such a huge time save to actually get that cutscene skip.
So now, another thing that I wanted to mention what Stafoo just did. People in this tournament, this happened like right before the tournament started. People have been opting to go for this 5th energy cell that's like right at the bottom under this like what we consider the spider sack area, because there's in the casual playthrough you're supposed to drop this big fat spider sack on the ground that you can jump off of, but we ignore that because we can bash glide. But yeah, a lot of people have been doing that so they can set up more safety saves and also have some chances for more charge dashes later on in the run as well.
Yeah, that energy is really, really nice for the extra couple safety saves it provides you. Normally people don't go for it in PB attempts because it takes a little bit of time to get it, and the philosophy is if you die, then your run's dead anyways, so safety saves do you no good, but for races it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately Chicken just had a death right there on the way out of on the way through these spiders right here, going in out of Thornfelt into Grotto again. So he's gonna try and make the approach to Kuro cutscene skip this time, and let's see if he actually gets it. And Stafoo, I believe, is going for Fastopolis, and I believe he got it. Yeah, I believe he got it.
Yeah, he got it. That was good.
Nice.
Hope he got the cell. I think he got the cell. He totally got the cell.
It looked like I think I saw the animation for it. So we'll know here in a second if he actually drops his save. Chicken unfortunately did not get Kuro cutscene skip, and so that cutscene skip is massive. It actually saves about 17 seconds. So it's definitely a point as we go along in this journey that it's like this and Fastopolis are like the two places where people can actually catch up during it as well.
Yeah. That said though, like especially when you're learning Ori, like since Chicken has only been running for a few weeks, really getting your time down is more about not dying than it is about getting the tricks. So like, oh man, Stafoo eating a death on Sorobash there, that's kind of rough.
Yeah, he unfortunately killed the bird and was not able to get his bash off, I don't think. So that's unfortunate.
Fortunately, it's not too far away. I mean, he may be all the way down at the bottom of the valley, but rocket jumps are really good, so yeah, that distance might be great, but the time is not all that bad. And a clean second Sorobash there, so he's now into Suro and through into probably the scariest part of the run. But since he has 5 energy, he's likely going to be able to place a safety save right up here, so now things are nice and comfortable again.
Yeah. And then on Chicken's side, he's doing the approach over there. We'll have to see if he actually goes for Fastopolis. I don't know if he's actually been actively learning it or if he's been particularly doing it in his PBs. But if he does go for it, that'll be pretty sick. We'll have a second attempt to see if somebody can get it, or if both runners can get it. Excuse me.
Yep.
Let's see if we can get frog juggle. Nice.
Yeah, so Sorrow Pass normally has all these nice little tunnels to the left and right that you have to do, but going straight up is a lot more our style, so we're just gonna let this friendly frog clear the way for us, and then we're gonna go flying up into the stratosphere.
Yeah, I mean, like Ginso Tree is awesome, you know, with one vertically oriented dungeon, but we just want to make other areas also vertically oriented. Like there's this other areas like horizontally. It's like nah. We just want to go straight up. We want to go to the top of the map, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it works, because at the start of the game, when you dash, your vertical movement is pretty bad, and then you have to go do the Ginso Tree with all you can do is jump and slow, and then all of a sudden you get charge dash, and suddenly going up is really, really easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And another minor thing that I want to bring up, actually, so I just want to make one comment before I go into a thing about rocket jumping in Sorrow. Chicken did not go for fast stompless, but he got it super cleanly. So he had a really nice section right there going through Valley, and he's about to get Feather as well. But one thing I wanted to mention about that last rocket jump that Stafoo did on the way up to the Keystone for Horu, the Sunstone. If you go up high enough, you could start loading the lasers, and we actually do a very like height-based timing so that you could actually rocket jump and miss that laser cycle. And but if you don't go high enough, it'll load as soon as you do it for the first time, and you'll actually die to the lasers 100% of the time.
Yeah, it's you have to make sure you go purposefully a little slow there. You just get taken down to Frown Town, basically. Now, it's interesting to note that there's actually a faster cycle that Stafoo tried to go for. Now, this is long past, so it's whatever, but you can get a really fast cycle on the way out, but it's much harder to get, and that's why he died to the laser on the way down. He almost had it, so it's close. It's close.
Yeah, it was very close. And
now, Stafoo's coming into the really impressive movement-based part of the run. This is where Charge Dash bashes really shine. He's getting his energy back for each one of these, and basically you just get to tear your way through Misty Woods. When you come to Misty Woods, this area is designed around, dash not being in the game because it hasn't changed from the vanilla version. No charge dash in the game and no charge jump yet because we were supposed to do this area before Sorrow Pass. So what was a series of puzzles just becomes a series of really fast dash glides all over the place and just tearing through spikes. Now, because he has 4 health, he won't get one shot by spikes, but if he takes any damage, then that all changes. So this area is pretty spooky, and there's a couple places where you can get caught, like fall into the spikes and not be able to get out before you take 2 hits. So it's pretty tense, and the saves are few and far between, but he's made it to climb without incident, so looking pretty good from Stafoo so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a really, really clean, like, Misty, first part of Misty right there. Unfortunately,
Chicken, yeah.
He got second try. He got second try Sorrow Bash, which was really good, and then he died at this slime right here. Like he ran into it, and so that really was unfortunate.
Yeah, he gets in like really fast again. I don't think he died on his, I guess, second Sorrow Bash attempt there. So
yeah, no, he got it first try after that. That was really good by Chicken right there.
Dodging the slime correctly this time, waving his mouse around a little. He can feel that darn slime got him.
Yeah.
Now heading on towards his own frog juggle while Stafoo continues to not do puzzles in Misty Woods.
Yeah, no, who needs puzzles when you can just, skip. You can just go glide through everything. I always remember, funny thing from when I was like learning 0 XP category, and I forgot that there was a whole section like right after the last keystone right here to go through to the right, but we usually have charge jumps, so it's like, oh, I forgot this existed right here.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
If you've ever been lacking Vula noises in your life, Vula will someday run 0 XP again, I believe, so I strongly recommend you check out that stream when he does. Now, Stafoo's fighting the Misty mini boss. He gets like a 1.5 cycle there. It's pretty good. You
Yeah.
can heal them like crazy fast. He didn't get a crazy fast kill, but more importantly, he didn't die, and that's really what it's all about for him at this point.
Yeah,
Just wants to
pretty
close this
much.
out strong. Because deaths here are still really spooky. Like his save is pretty far away, and I think he has some damage on him. I think he got hit by the Misty boss, so he could. I think all these enemies will one-shot him, but you know, charge, dash, and bash makes it pretty safe. And I lied because he turned his UI on. He still has full health. So what am I talking about?
Yeah, I know. I actually thought he took some damage too.
Yeah, maybe he got a health drop.
He might have, from the mini boss, he might have got a health drop right there.
I choose to believe that.
So Chicken's coming down from Sunstar right now. He will also be entering Misty very shortly as well. Or, oh, I see. He messed up Frog Juggle, so he had to... Or, no, I'm sorry. I'm all messed up. Now he's going to Charge Jump. Ignore the last about 10 seconds I was just commentating.
It sounds like you've been in Glades a little too long over there, friend.
Yeah, no, I agree. Glades is making me lose my mind a little bit.
You know, I gotta say that's one of the best things about tournament races is you spend way less time in Glades than you would if you're actually running for your PB because all you do is just play Glades.
Yeah, especially when you when you die to like elbow strats coming out of it or random slimes on the way over to BRB. You know, you never know what could actually kill you. Or sometimes you know up the brambles right before the BRB, the Seven Glades teleporter.
If you haven't died to every individual spine, each bramble in Glades at least once, you haven't played already enough.
Agreed.
Alright, so Stafoo's got the last skill, Light Grenade. Light Grenade was almost useful, but it's not useful, so we just get it because it's the last skill, and then we leave. Never use a Light Grenade. There used to be like 2 Light Grenades that were used in the run, and then they got routed out. So, see ya, I guess.
Yeah, I know some people who are more around like the 38 to like 40 like 5 range sometimes will if they don't feel comfortable with the dash glide over that that slow zone where that light grenade cutscene skip would be, people have actually just thrown a quick like grenade upward and then dash glided over it. That works just as well.
Yeah,
just
that's
anything
a really
to
good
avoid
point.
that slow zone. Yeah,
because that slow zone is really bad. Like it costs like 5 seconds to run through it, and if you miss the dash glide, which, as mentioned, it is kind of a tricky input to get one, especially because as you approach a slow zone, you lose the ability to jump, so you have to do it quite quickly. And missing the dash glide costs you about 5 seconds, but if you just choose to throw a light grenade instead and get through with a dash glide, which is quite easy, you know, you're only going to be about half a second slower just going through the dash glide. So it's a very good strategy if you're not confident in your dash gliding abilities. Now we've got Stafoo. He's about to do Door Warp. We'll see how kind this trick is to him. Basically, he just has to press Enter Door, up, W, whatever the keys he uses for it if he wants to roll his face across the keyboard on a bunch of binds to get it. And he gets it first try. Nice. That's actually pretty sweet.
First try in there.
Unfortunately, he's not on PB pace, but if he was on PB pace, it would have taken about 17 more tries than that, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I actually, you bring up a point. I actually just imagine him rolling his face across the keyboard to get that first try as well.
There's different schools of thought about that trick. Some people time it with like the screen fade out. Some people mash it. Some people roll their face across the keyboard because mashing is just not good enough. But you know, that's that. So just the final escape left for Stafoo, and with any luck, we'll see some fish strats. This is a really fun strategy because you risk just dashing to fire and dying and losing a couple minutes, but you could save 2 seconds with it. So we'll see what he decides to do here.
Yep, and you know.
We're going for it. Nice.
Oh, he's going for it. Let's see if he can get it. I'll hold off my comment.
Nice.
Oh, okay, he's fine. He took damage, but he's fine. It's okay. You wouldn't know anything about that rock, would you, Sig?
I really choose to believe I've never had any bad experiences with that rock before.
Okay, yeah.
We'll just say that.
It's all right. It's like I choose to believe I've never, you know, actually missed a jump on the first log coming out of wall jump.
It's not named for you or anything like that. So Stafoo coming in with a really solid time. His time's not done yet. He's got to walk over to the right, with a couple, with Ori, get eaten by a bird, and then walk over to the right with Naru, and maybe make the bird regret that a little bit. But that's the story. We don't care about that because we don't have to watch the prologue to understand. And that's
yeah.
But yeah, really solid time. This is like a low 35 from the looks of things. His PB is 33:58, I believe, and so he's close to his PB, just over a minute off. Really solid race time there from stafoo. So nice performance there from him.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially where he's at in the leaderboard, with anything within like 2 minutes of his time is like a godly like race run. Like it's pretty insane, because even with the safety stuff, there's still a lot of stuff that can kill you. You could not save nearly enough in Ori. So.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I'll note that this PB of stafoo's, this 33:58, it happened. It was yesterday at some point. I don't remember, but before that, I think he was. I wish I could remember his exact place on the leaderboards, but he moved up a lot of places with this PB. Like, it was very large. He came in the Discord after he got it. He posted the splits. He's like, I'm shaking, and he's like -40 on his last PB, and it was really awesome to see. So great for him.
I think he had already bopped me and Bula like at one of the high 34 times, if I remember correctly. So he's still PB'd by like 50 seconds or 45 seconds or something.
Yeah,
which is pretty insane.
And it's also nice to see because like his late game in those splits was really, really good, and it's hard to keep it together when you've been playing like a lot of Ori, doing a lot of runs, like not getting nervous in the late game when you're on a good run. I'm sure it's the same for any game, but there you have it. Mm-hmm. Now we've got Chicken coming up to the last skill. He's closing in on the end himself, just skipping this, 80-something second cutscene that nobody wants to watch, and he's gonna go pick up Light Grenade and then probably not use it.
Yeah, going off that, if anyone, to kind of go off like the whole like we skip all the lore in this game and stuff, if any of you guys like platformers, and even people who don't generally play platformers, like I was before I started speedrunning Ori, I was not a platformer player most of the time myself, and it's one of my top 3 games overall, and partially it's the movement tech, but the lore and story behind the game is really cool. And so I would recommend anyone to casually pick it up.
Yeah. And if you don't want to play it casually, but you still want to enjoy the lore, be sure to tune in to Trojan stream sometimes, because you'll get to see those cutscenes.
Wow, dude, I just didn't even expect that coming. All right, well, anyway, moving on. Chicken is now he is going to Horu, and he is gonna try and do clean section through here as well, with some charge dashes and everything like that. So, anyway.
I love you, man. I love you.
I know, right. Man. I love you too, buddy.
So getting through those crushers without incident, we'll see a nice little rocket jump off this Frankie here, and then just heading over to Horu. This area is actually pretty deadly. We'll see. Some people opt to save in this spot, but Chicken's like, nah, I got this. This lava's got nothing on me. It's not like everything here one-shots you or anything like that.
Yeah, no, nothing does. It's all safe. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what he can do with door up right now when he does it as well. So hopefully, I think generally speaking, for most runners, getting it within 3 tries is like pretty acceptable for what we try to do during the run, just because it is a bit of a finicky trick. So he's going for second try right here.
Yeah, the consolation you can give yourself when you're missing door warp is that the alternative strategy requires an ability point for you to drop under the lava and fight the mini boss normally. And compared to doing door warp, I believe you can miss 5 or 6 door warps before you break even with that. But of course, since we need that ability point to even try it, and part of the time save in door warp is not having to go get that ability point, you're committed to it once you get it. But Chicken gets it in there. Now he's just got the final escape left. So we'll see if he decides to go big and take a fish for a ride, or if he says, okay, that strat's a little crazy. Let's just take it easy as we finish things out.
Yeah. I've got a feeling he's he's probably gonna go for it. I've got faith in Chicken. Let's go, buddy.
I believe.
Don't be a chicken. Let's go.
Well, he might have to be though. I don't know.
Questions the next episode of Ori and the Blind Forest speedruns. I think he's going. He is. Oh no, he's not. Never mind. I thought he moved the fish up. I guess he decided against it.
Well, a respectable decision.
Oh.
It is only 2 seconds after all, so that's how it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely great job by Chicken right here. He's still got. I think he's gonna get about a 41 38 or something like that. So I think that's still a really solid run considering that's almost within a minute of his PV as well because he currently has a 39:23.
Yeah, both of them coming close to their PBs, so nice race performances from both of these guys. And I believe this was both of their first race of the tournament, so not really letting tournament jitters get to them. So really nice from both players here.
Very much so. And it's cool that I think this was a great matchup too because outside of maybe I think Fast Stompless, they pretty much go for very similar movement strats throughout, and it's a nice good competitive race to go watch just from a strat standpoint.
Yeah, pretty much. So coming up next, we have one Ori match tonight, I believe, and that is going to be Hetfield, the world record holder, against Erasmus. So yeah, stick around for that because that's going to be pretty awesome. And I think we're staying on for commentary because everybody else has left us alone here.
It's all right. It's just forever alone in chat.
Yeah.